Hello. Okay, so it's been a long time and I'm gonna just jump right into it. I'm going to be doing a small reading just to progress in some way with The Artist's Way. That's written by Julia Cameron. And the previous section was, uh, um, let's test the memory, The Zen of Sports. And I remember I really enjoyed that. Um, okay, so hopefully this one's going to be short. I'm a little bit about the title of this one, but let's just dive right in. Okay, so building your artist's altar. Morning pages are meditation, a practice that brings you to your creativity and your creator God. In order to stay easily and happily creative, we need to stay spiritually centered. In order to do this, it would be easier if we allow ourselves some centering rituals or practices. It is important that we devise these ourselves from the elements that feel holy and happy to us. Many blocked creatives grew up in punitively religious homes. For us to stay happily and easily creative, we need to heal from this, becoming spiritually centered through creative rituals of our own. A spiritual room or even a spiritual corner is an excellent way to do this. I'm going to I really want to give some side comments there, but I'm going to reserve my opinions about that strong language. But it's okay. If you want to make it more palatable, you can just call it, creative corner or something like that. It's more welcoming. Sometimes the whole spiritual word can be a bit intimidating. Not that it's not important and it's essential for you, your kids, life, and the beauty of it. Anyway, carrying on. This haven can be a corner of a room, a nook under the stairs. I nearly read stars, so either or, you guys. Even a window ledge. It is a reminder and an acknowledgement of the fact that our Creator unfolds our creativity. Fill it with things that make you happy. Remember that your artist is fed by images. We need to unlearn our old notion that spirituality and sensuality don't mix. Ooh, hectic. An artist's altar should be a sensory experience. Keyword play. And I mean, I think this is so important because I think, sure, for kids, but wherever you are in life, if you didn't get it as a kid, or it hits certain spots in the brain, and I'm pretty sure it's important to keep synapsing, for lack of better words, but it's to engage that play part. It's almost like I want to say, to make sure that your instinct is alive, that it's still there. We need to pass that thing on, because who else, I hope that one day some kids will still, find it fun to make mud pies outside and run around and play with sticks and bricks as toys, and just be perfectly happy like that, as one of the many options, but yeah. And with that also linking it to instinct, gut, intuition, maybe you could go common sense, but again going into sense. But it's really important, because if you just think of it on the surface, it's okay, sense. If you lose one of the senses, or if you're disengaged from one of them, okay, how do you feel then? And then it can be more and more, and then at some point, I mean, I've definitely experienced this, at some point you're kind of Well, you know what, I don't really know. I don't know if it's quality or not. I don't know what percentages of each sense I'm even accessing or still have, you know, a handle on or ability to experience. And that's kind of a weird thing to think. And yeah, for that reason, I think I'm curious about, you know, kind of wanting to reestablish or perhaps like, you know, like ching chong chong on some things to see what makes noise, to try and like, I don't know, get some chords in place to strengthen those connections that helped us, you know, as kids. And when we were younger, and you know, we can always refer to those younger ones, which are also the future ones that we hope will always do better than us. But yeah, I think that we can't lose that instinct, and we've got to pass it on. And I think that it's thanks. And I think that it's important to not try to necessarily figure it out, but rather to sort of reconnect it, because I think it's not something that it's like, ooh, ABC, you know, kind of teaching, but it's more, you know, it's more, yeah, sure, sensory, but I feel like it goes further than that, because, and I don't want to touch in here right now, but that really, really can go deep. I mean, that's like connected, that's like in the realm of like, okay, that's a spot where you're kind of, where, you know, if you think of the bigger picture, you'll probably, you know, become a part of reality, you know, being woven in. This hope so. So the threads that we can get together and yeah, and form some kind of string, and then yeah, one thing after another, and connecting, uniting, you know, creating something that's strong and bonded. And you know, I think at that point you can eventually together, not alone, you know, begin to feel, oh, okay, I have some significance. But I only got that through this generative, passing on, cultivated, curated, cared for, tended to, regarded as valuable and important for character and chord of voice, and the way that you conduct yourself in the world, in terms of the curiosity that you feel that you can sort of crawl around in, or yeah, almost like a crawl space, like into your little fortress. And it's like there's, you know, just a little example of one of the spaces of your imagination where you can like really, really let it come to life. Who knows what that does, but I'm telling you now, that's the beginning of some great ways to connect with God the Father. Really, really. I'm finding it, interestingly, not only this year, but if I have to just take this year and say the ways that I can't really describe it, but the ways that I've been feeling more strong signaling or connection with God has been sort of through the more creative sense. It's like, oh, those channels, it's like He understands me obviously way better than I do, and than anyone, and he can do whatever he wants to up there. But anyway, I do really appreciate that. I'm aware of that. I still have access to pieces of my creativity, or my creative brain, or whatever feels like that, because through that there's like this really lovely connection. And then I try to do what I can. Probably a kid would probably beat me in terms of being able to stay in that space. But it's really worth it. It's really revitalizing, and I think that it's also in some ways like more than inspiring. It's like a little, it's like a little like people pick me ups just in case you you're losing your energy and you're feeling like just this sort of drone of a human. It's like there's a few little extra stars in your constellation of your maybe darkened, tired mind, just in case, so that you, when you do like look up to just check if there's something to inspire you, there is at least something, and you're like, oh, okay, cool, and then you can sort of try to make your way into that fort or under that fairy light string, whatever, into that space where you can then be like, sure, I want to connect. God, you know the coordinates. Let's meet. So I'm really interested. I would like that rejuvenative, spiritual, sensory, just only what God can do in those places where nobody else can really reach, and you can't really like lead someone to. But if you lean into God, and if you like, I love that where it's like you draw near to him and he draws near to you, and I love the drawing aspect because you can literally think of, like, I saw this thing on Pinterest. It's cute, anyone can make it. It's just, you get a box of crayons, you cut out some pieces of paper, you write that scripture, and you stick a crayon on with maybe something to color in, and you could give it out at a kid's party or something like that. And I mean, it's so simple, but it's really great, and something to remember by. And yeah, I mean, if you can also like just be like, oh, I don't know what ego is, what's that stuff, it's a bit complicated. I just think, not like that you're dumb, but just think, oh, okay, a soft approach, almost remedial, like, here's a crayon, I've got this crayon, it was given to me, I can draw, you can use it, and you can just like, yeah, I mean, this is probably to humble yourself as maybe an adult or someone that finds it difficult to sort of not be too hard on yourself, to get yourself into these sort of mind spaces and not be like super judgy on yourself. It does help to sort of play with kids, and then you can sort of get a feel for, okay, maybe you can do your simplified version of channeling your inner child, like getting just a crayon and drawing near to God, like almost like you're both drawing together and you're creating this thing together. And it's like, here's a crayon, he's got a crayon, there's the thing, and you're working together. Oh man, that's a beautiful experience. It's really, I think, I will never not say or not recommend or not suggest, if it isn't happening, that you need to do that with your child, with anyone really. It's like such an amazing experience. Just, and you don't need to learn everything or become like Leonardo da Vinci or anything like that. Just basic colors, put pen to paper, or like color to paper, arty stuff. You don't have to go like crazy about it, although you can, especially in that creative space, because it's like, it's fun, and it's as long as it's not like sort of like beyond rascal, where you're like damaging walls and property. As long as you keep it in like a space like that, where you have the freedom to let loose and just create, and yeah, and you're in that safe space. And I'm going to come back to this now, but I just want to put a keyword or insert a word here that's coming onto my mind, which is fortress. And if you're keen on going to look up what a fortress is, or what you think a fortress is, and then maybe going to look a little bit further, and then perhaps delving into the Bible and checking out some verses containing that and around that. I think it might be a great addition to this, and you might just find something that you needed that I can't tell you what it is, but there's a little bit of encouragement. If this is too like then it's like, okay, look up fortress and find that place in the Bible, and can connect that way. Anyway, so hopefully we're finishing soon. I don't want to meander too long. Okie dokie. Okay. We are meant to celebrate the good things of this earth. Pretty leaves, rocks, candles, sea treasures, all these remind us of our Creator. Small rituals, self-devised, are good for the soul. Burning incense while reading affirmations or writing them, lighting a candle, dancing to some drum or acoustic music, holding a smooth rock and listening to what Gregorian chants. All of these tactile physical techniques reinforce spiritual growth. Sure. You know what's funny? It's just interesting. It's like, it's not ironic, but it's something that there needs to be a new category. It's smooth. Yeah, it's like a smooth irony. It's like, okay, I get it. I get the hint. Because tonight, or this evening, there is a spiritual growth seminar series beginning, and it's like 2 hours for about 6 weeks. And there you go. Like, I've done it quite a few times before, but I like to sort of try and do it again whenever it comes on, because there's always, it's like there's always something new to be learned, and for me, I think it's worth it to try and be generous or obedient or just giving and loving and wanting to learn and spend time in the Word and with God and trying to get a better relationship with God or understanding, just to be able to just be in this world and try and be more like Him and be closer to Him, and yeah, etc. But spiritual growth, I mean, that's for everybody. Everybody, doesn't matter who you are. And there's, humble beginnings everywhere. So, yeah, I mean, if you think of spiritual growth, you can link it to sensory learning. And then you can, think of, okay, so life. And, yeah. Remember, the artist child speaks the language of the soul. Music, dance, sense, shells. Your artist's altar to the Creator should be fun to look at, even silly. Remember how much little kids like gaudy stuff. Sure, that's a word that's old. I almost feel like shamans go to, I don't know how I would locate the box, which is piled in between other boxes, which could possibly contain a dictionary that has words like gaudy, etc. But it's kind of cool. Your artist is a little kid, so ... We've got a quote by Norma Jean Harris. That's a cool name. Art does not reproduce the visible. Rather, it makes it visible. The moon develops creativity as chemicals develop photographic images. Sure. That's quality. That's a quality. Sure. That's nice. I think I'm gonna say repeat by Norma Jean Harris. Art does not reproduce the visible, rather it makes it visible. The moon develops creativity as chemicals develop photographic images. There's so much in that. You got that there, sure. A gift, blessing, sure. You just go into that. There's so much there. I mean, you can. Art does not reproduce. You just break it up into sections, and then there's some like pretty great words which have like really awesome connections as well. You can really play with that. And the way that this is crafted, it's awesome. Really, art does not reproduce the visible. Art does not reproduce the visible. Rather, it makes it visible. Okay? So art does not reproduce the visible. It makes it visible. There's a mystery right there. I mean, yeah. And then the moon develops creativity. The moon develops creativity as chemicals develop photographic images. And there, you know, it's always interesting to learn, you know, about, if you want to go into some history of photography, maybe go into dark rooms and how you developed film back in the day, you know. But if you, yeah, it's really, really, really interesting to like go way back when and like find out, you know, sure, photography had a beginning and an origin, and then before that there was nothing. And then yeah, so that's really, really awesome. Gives you a new appreciation, and yeah, and the development of that, wow, it's amazing. And I would recommend that you kind of find, you know, stuff to read about it. I can't think of any video or imagine a video to recommend. I really do say like go read about it. Oh, okay. So we have, I just saw a glimpse of the stress on my face as I'm seeing the word tasks, and then like, oh, okay, but I'll just list them. Okay, tasks is 10. You know, you can do your own thing with all of this. Obviously, I have before and I will again, as it was recommended to me. And obviously the hard copy is a great recommendation to get this book, and it comes with a workbook. And yeah, many people have gone through it. I see my battery is starting to fade, so the tasks can come later. Let me just give you the first one. Tape your own voice reading the basic principles. Write, you know what, I'm just going to minimize these tasks and say make a fort, make a little play space. Just even if you just put a plate down on a section of a table and you just put a few things there together, that's something that you look at and you're like, oh, that's nice. You've creatively engaged. Take a rock, a candle, some sand, you know, whatever it is. Just let yourself do that and enjoy. Okay, see you later. God bless.